2023 meeting of the Youth and Education Committee. My name is Natasha Rodriguez. I'm the vice chair, and the meeting is called to order at 6:32 p.m. So just some ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. You can find the raise hand function under the participants icon. If you have any technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon to relay your difficulty to the staff. The chat function should only be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should have been made on the record beforehand by raising your hand. Please keep your questions and comments pertaining to the discussion. And members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand through Zoom and wait to be recognized. All right, Khalid, if you could call the roll.
Give me 1 second. Just get back to it. Okay, members, just to reiterate, there are 9 total committee members and we need 5 in order to make quorum. Rosa Diaz.
Present.
Thank you. Angela Donadell. Not seeing. David Giordano.
Present.
Thank you. John Green.
Here.
Thank you. Claudia Perez. Claudia, I see that you're here. I'll wait for her to confirm. Natasha Rodriguez.
Present.
Isaac Scott.
Present.
Russell Schuler. Jason Wu. No answer. Angela Donadell, can you confirm your presence for me, please?
I'm here.
And Claudia Perez, are you available?
I'm here. I finally found it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Natasha, so you currently have 7 members present in a quorum.
All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to start with our informational updates. Actually, is there any announcements? I think there was one. Yeah. Okay. All right, so first announcements. The New York City Department of Transportation, DOT, is holding a job fair to fill full-time entry-level engineering positions in all areas of the agency's operations. The fair will be held Friday, February 3rd, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. at 55 Water Street in the concourse level bid room. To attend, please RSVP, and then the link is on the agenda also if anyone needs it. All right, next slide, please. All right, so we're going to start with our informational updates. Is Dr. Dela Cruz on? Anyone from DOE?
She's gonna be late.
Okay,
but I'm
so
here
let's
for
start with
District
you,
4.
Rosa.
My apologies.
Yeah.
My apologies, Natasha. I should have raised my hand. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So tomorrow we're having our Community Education Council District 4 meeting at PS 83 in 109th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. We are having faith, family, and community empowerment come and present about the elections that started yesterday. You need to have your LISCA account in order to vote. It's very important. Our term ends on June 31st, I think it is, 2023. Also, we're having the mayor's office come and present about gender ending violence. And we're also having Valerie Empowerment Group give us a self-check and wellness care presentation. We are also having in the district on Thursday, everyone is invited. I will send that information to David and you, Natasha, so you can share it with everyone that is interested. We're having our comprehensive educational district 4 planning in Manhattan Center. We had in December 19th, we had a winter wonderland, which was very emotional, productive, and um, very successful. We helped a lot of migrant families obtain clothing, shoes, toys, a lot of donations. And we're still collecting donations for everyone, whoever's interested in donating. We're collecting it in PS7. We're also coming up with a little marqueta, kind of like that we can gather all the donations that everyone is giving to us. Um, Let me see. Also, our Chancellor's Parent Advisory Committee is on Thursday at 9:30. It's gonna be live streamed via YouTube channel. I can also send that information down. And we are going to hopefully pass a resolution on busing tomorrow. So please come, make your voice be heard. All comments, all respectful comments are welcome. I will put in the chat my email address for the Department of Education. If anyone has any questions or want the information sent out directly, that is also welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. I appreciate that. If you could put all of that in the chat, I know it was a lot, or like an email that I could send out to the board or something, because that was a lot. But thank you for the update. Angela?
Good evening. I believe that Ms. Diaz stated the CC meeting is tomorrow at PS 83. Is it hybrid or do you have to be in attendance?
I can answer that, Natasha. Yes?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Angela. It's going to be tomorrow and it's hybrid. It's in PS 83. My apologies, I didn't mention. We're also having video conferencing. I can also, that information is public. It's in Twitter, it's in all our social media. It's being sent out via email pursuant to DOE regulations and protocols. I will also send you the information since I have your cell phone. Thank you.
Okay, and I would appreciate that. Can the link be put in this chat or the email? I can drop my email in the chat and then you can send it to me via email because I think I would like to be in attendance at the meeting.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have Rosa send me everything and then I'll just forward it to the committee because she said a lot of great things that are going on and I don't want for any of it to get lost within the meeting. So
Thank you very much.
if you could do that, Rosa, I would appreciate that, just so I can send it out. All right, anyone else?
Now, I just want to add that, Angela, when we have these meetings with the CEC, the schools that we go to, also the youth from that school and another school present. So sometimes you don't get the whole gist of it on the Zoom, but it's really nice to support our kids who present. And I have to say, last month, 108 presented, and they did a fabulous job. They're looking to redo the playground, and they also presented at our economic environment and open space committee. So I know if Zoom, you may not get the whole presentation, but you still get the gist of it.
But with my scheduling and things I have to do, rather to be a participant on Zoom than not to participate at all.
I hear you, Angela.
All right. If there's no other questions, I see that Dr. De La Cruz has joined, but I will circle back to her if that's okay. Ms. Williams from CEC 5. I see her trying to unmute, so we're just going to give her a second.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year. So some of the things that was spoken about with CEC5, like the CPAC meeting that's coming up with the chancellor, the same thing. So I'm not going to repeat those type of things to you. But what I will say is that our last meeting, we did speak about the new design middle school student council group. And we also had a presentation from the School of Construction Authority, which went pretty well, you know, to figure out about our capital planning money and where they're going to be going to. And let's see, that was on December 15th, excuse me, December 21st. December 15th, we had our toy drive, which was spectacular. So many children came out. The weather was a little bad. Parents came out. It was really a lot of fun, great bonds, and good to see the children in a good light, having fun minute. We did have a special virtual meeting on December 30th to discuss the schools that we deem top priorities for the School of Construction, but we're going to kind of revisit that because there's still some participatory budget money that is due to us from last year that some of the schools didn't get. However, we ran out of time at our regular meeting, but I had put on the agenda for us to discuss collaborative efforts with CEC4 for the resolution on the class size and the AC and the discrimination regarding the middle school and high school admissions. Let's see, we did have a parent that came to attend to fill a vacancy, even though they just opened up for the for all of the CECs to do their applications now online for the next year coming forward. But until then, we are filling vacancies. So we're going to have that parent at our next meeting, which will be on the 25th of this month. And it's in person. It'll be at PS 36 in Unit 2 at 123 Morningside Drive. Also, when we went into executive session, we had interviewed a parent coordinator at Seed, and that went well. But I do want to highlight that I put on the agenda for us to discuss at this meeting coming support for the children through the Children's Aid Society to have these letters drafted to urge the Congress to increase the funding for after school and summer programs, as we had discussed before in the CB11 meeting, and for the child credit expansion to be made permanent, and for more funds in the right to our state representatives and our assembly persons. So that would be Ina Dickens and Port Al Clear. I do want to highlight one new piece of evidence that has come up. So there will be a cannabis dispensary that will be opening on 125th Street, right across the street from the Apollo. And so at our meeting, we're inviting some, parents, business owners, etc., to come out to attend that meeting because there are a lot of concerns. There are several schools that are going to be, in proximity. That's a high-risk area of traffic already for children that are walking to and from school on a regular. So all the way from the west to the east, there is high crime. There's been some gun violence. There's a lot of drug trafficking, especially as you get further towards Malcolm X Boulevard, all the way over to Park and even like 3rd Avenue. So we do have a lot to contend with. We're not saying that the dispensary shouldn't open. We're just trying to say maybe that's not the greatest location because it appears as if Harlem is always the dumping zone for substance use. And I don't think when they were doing the planning process that anybody factored in that this could be a ripple snowball effect. Meaning curiosity, the glamorization of this. Children might ask somebody to come to go and purchase something for them, and they might not receive what they asked for. And then all of a sudden that causes them to maybe react negatively in a physical altercation, which was then exposed them to a negative interaction with NYPD, which is, as we know, children react differently when they're approached, and sometimes the NYPD might not be so efficient in their tactics of having discussions with children. They just automatically react. So if they see a cell phone, they might think it's a gun. I mean, God forbid, but that's the opening gateway to the pipeline to prison. In addition to, as we all know, alcohol and marijuana is a gateway to substance abuse. And there was an article just recently about children who are coming to school under the influence, middle schoolers and high schoolers. And so that is another point of concern, because as the brain is still developing, you're not making rational decisions. So that's what's coming up right now. That's going to be the end of my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to go to the hands that are raised. Claudia Perez.
Happy New Year and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I just want to piggyback off of what she just mentioned. I took a walk in the community from 116th Street and 2nd Avenue all the way to where I live by 99th Street and 2nd Avenue. What I noticed is that we have 6 of those illegal smoke shops, because they're illegal, and they're popping up into the community. So what I realized was, in between that, you could say like 3/4 of a mile, it was 6 of those illegal shops, and it was 3 infusion bars. So, and they were different varieties, because you had restaurants that had the edibles, and you had restaurants that looked like, you had places that looked like coffee shops and bakeries. So it's a huge variation that's popping up into the community. And then yesterday I was on the parent meeting with my daughter's school, and it came up where the principal said that due to the fact that it was located directly across the street from the school and they sold edibles, they had some kids that consumed the edibles, and they ended up having to go to the hospital. So this is something that's very serious, and it's already affecting the children in our communities. And we have to take a serious look and, start understanding where they should be, because even though our communities were the greatest impacted with this, it's going to be impacted again, and we want to make sure that the impact it has is positive within the community. I yield the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, I will say I do agree with you, because last year, like before I graduated, when I was in high school, when like weed was legalized and stuff like that, you see it a lot more now, and it's within the schools. And just like how we wouldn't want necessarily a liquor store across from a school, we need to start thinking about these smoke shops. And like Claudia said, they are illegal, so they shouldn't be around the schools. They shouldn't be there at all, but especially around the schools. Marco Perez.
Hi, everybody. Marco from the DA's office. I do have 2 questions, one for Gina and one for Claudia. Gina, you mentioned that there's going to be a meeting in regards to the weed dispensary opening up in Harlem. Is there a time and location and date for that meeting, and is it open to the public?
Yes, it is open to the public. It is, I'm sorry about the noise, because I'm at another parent meeting.
No worries.
But it's going to be at our Community Education Council meeting for District 5, and that's going to be at PS 36, Unit 2, Room 228. The address is 123 Morningside Drive at 6:30 p.m.
Is your meeting hybrid?
No, it's in person.
Okay. No problem. Is there an official flyer or invitation Maybe I can
Um,
put it on the chat and you can send it over by any chance?
yeah, the flyer hasn't come out as of yet.
Okay.
I have requested it. I was just elected in as the secretary.
Okay.
And I was trying to request it for this meeting, but as soon as it comes, if you put your information in chat, I will send it, and I'll send it to the community board as well.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you so much. I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you, Gina.
Absolutely.
My next question is for Claudia. Claudia, you mentioned that walking in Harlem along the 125th Street corridor, you've seen 6 illegal shops selling weed. Do you happen to have those addresses offhand? And if you don't, could you possibly email them to me?
I do not have the addresses.
Mhm.
If you walk along it, they're very obvious to see. I'll be able to walk again, and then get the addresses for you. But yeah, they're there.
Well,
I
if it's best, maybe if you could give like approximately between, if you walk on
In
one.
160th Street
Mhm.
and approximately 100th Street
Okay.
think you might be talking
or along Second Avenue.
sure. I think 3rd Street. I'm not sure if that's a legal smoke shop or.
I'm sorry, I can't. There's a lot of feedback. I can't really hear.
I think there's one on 103rd Street.
103rd? Okay.
Ms. Williams, could you mute yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Is that me? I apologize.
All right. If there's no other questions for CEC5, I'm gonna move on to, oh wait, there's some in the, hold up. I see in the attendees. Stephanie Arroyo. Khalid, are we able to unmute Stephanie Arroyo?
Yes, give me 1 second to get to it.
Oh wait, I think I have the option. Hold on.
Yes, you're a co-host. You can help me.
Yeah, all right, there we go.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Stephanie Royal from Community Board 11. I was just hoping, can Marco like share his contact information? Because we are, as an executive, the executive board is going to be having a meeting this Wednesday, and definitely would like to invite you to it, where we're going to be talking about some of these issues when it comes to cannabis and within East Harlem.
Yeah, he's gonna give a presentation in a moment, so I'm pretty sure after he does all that, he could put his information in the chat. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
If there's no other questions for CEC5, we're gonna try to move it along to DOE, Dr. De La Cruz. All right, I don't know if she's allowed to talk, so give me a second. Is Dr. De La Cruz still here?
She's a panelist. She should be able to speak freely and share her screen if she'd like. Maybe she might be away from the computer at this time.
All right, so I guess we'll go to District Attorney's Office and then we'll just circle back to DOE. So Marco, you could go.
Oh, perfect. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Natasha, for the introduction. Hi, David. It's also great to see everybody else on the board. My name is Marco Perez Jr., and I'm the East Harlem Community Engagement Coordinator at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. We are joined by one of our education coordinators, Imani Dumbia. She just wants to see what this meeting is about and get more familiarized with the Youth and Education Committee meeting at CB11. Following my introduction, I'm going to dive into my report. One of the biggest announcements we have coming out of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is the Manhattan DA, in partnership with the CUNY Institute for State and Local Governance, has announced a $9 million RFP. It's a mental health initiative to immediately reach New Yorkers with deeply entrenched needs. The initiative aims to meet people where they are and connect them with comprehensive wraparound community support services, including housing assistance and treatment for mental illness and substance abuse disorders. Essentially, these programs were informed by community-based organizations in Manhattan and residents on what they found to be the most successful strategies for creating strong, stable, and safe communities. As I mentioned, this is a $9 million RFP process. Up to $6 million is allocated for the neighborhood navigators, and these are professionally trained individuals who will work directly with unhoused individuals who have mental health challenges and or substance abuse disorders and connecting them with services. Then $3 million out of the $9 million will be allocated towards the court-based navigators in all criminal court arraignment parts. These are professionally trained individuals who will serve a similar high needs population like the neighborhood navigators do, but they will have an additional focus on individuals who have a history of recidivism into constant contact with the criminal justice system. The Manhattan DA's office is providing these awards through the Criminal Justice Investment Initiative, which is created by millions of dollars seized from major banks in the course of criminal investigations, and is administered by the CUNY Institute for State and Local Governance. Other than that, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, after the first year of his administration, DA Bragg has highly prioritized addressing gun violence, especially within Harlem. One of the great partnerships we had in 2022, thanks to Dr. Christy De La Cruz, PS7, Principal Martinez, Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala's office, and the Thrive Collective, was our Art of Healing in the summer at PS7. It was a great turnout. Thank you so much, Natasha, for attending, as well as David, any other board members as well. Essentially, what that was a creative, impactful space to address gun violence trauma through artistic expression. We had art stations that would consist of mural painting, arts and crafts, dancing, DJing, as well as spoken word. And around those art stations, we had a resource fair with community-based organizations, really just exchanging contact and resources for the community to address gun violence and any other support services they have. As of this year's end, in our year-to-year report date and data, the Manhattan DA's office has been addressing gun violence as, like I said, one of the top high priorities. Homicides are down in Manhattan by 26% and are down 11% citywide, and shootings are down in Manhattan by 19% and down citywide by 16%. I would like to yield my time to the floor if there are any other comments, questions, or concerns. I will put in the RFP into the chat, as well as our press release on it. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me as I put my contact information in the chat.
All right. So I see two people have their hands up. So first, I'm gonna go to Amani because you're with the district attorney, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you want to add on to that. Then I'll go to you, Angela.
Thank you for giving me the time to speak. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. My name is Imani Dumbia. As Marco said, I'm an education coordinator, and part of my role in this facet is to become the point person for your public safety concerns within the DOE districts 4 and 5. So I will be attending these meetings along with Marco, just to hear the community's concerns and let you all know about the programming that we have specifically geared towards youth. I wanted to say quickly that February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So we will be doing our annual campaign where we come into schools and give free presentations based on a scenario that helps youth identify red flags with dating and how to interrupt that circle of violence and ways that they can just be smarter about entering these relationships as they get older. We also will be announcing our annual high school internship program that we have every year. The application will be opening at the end of January. So again, I will be in contact with the majority of you and add you all to our email blast list so that you all can be notified as soon as the application launches. And again, I look forward to getting to know some of you all. I see familiar faces with Miss Rosa Diaz. And I'll see you all hopefully at tomorrow's Community Education Council for meeting. So I yield my time and thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you could send us when the application opens, just so that way we could pass it around. So Angela.
Thank you again. Marco, you mentioned the statistic, and Happy New Year to you. You mentioned the statistical data for Manhattan, but is there a breakdown for what happens in East Harlem? Because what happens in Manhattan does not necessarily reflect that our percentages in this community are as low. So is there a separation?
Well, Happy New Year, Angela. It's always great to hear from you. What I can do in that number, that was a generalization of Manhattan, as I stated. What I can do is I can
Yes.
bring back your concern back to our team and see if I can get you a breakdown personally for East Harlem and see who would be the appropriate people from our office to pull that data for you.
Right, because if you look around, it just seems that if anything, our numbers, maybe they didn't go up, but they probably stayed the same. But they always show us statistical data comprised of these varying communities, some which probably none of the violence takes place in, and others where it does. But that still balances out to that very low number. So yes, I would like that. And
Okay,
I will send you my email in the chat.
perfect,
It can
perfect.
be sent to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. I deeply do agree with your comment and concern. What I will say here is that I want to make sure that the most accurate person is able to clarify the data. In no way am I a data analyst for the office, and I want to make sure that that person who's pulling that data can really break it down for you and be able to give you the most accurate information.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
Xavier, was that a hand to ask a question or? Okay.
Yes, hi. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. To the previous question from Angela. The 12th, we will have our Public Safety and Transportation Committee meeting. They do typically during that meeting break down the stats for the 2523 and PSA 5 if they attend. As a whole, they sometimes can answer the question about in totality what the averages are of other precincts and how that relates and where we are in those standings. But I think it'd be good to also get the DAs to come back with that information that you can come in on January 12th for our Public Safety and Transportation Committee. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Xavier. Angela, I'm gonna assume that's an old hand. Okay. If there's no other questions for District Attorney's Office, I'm gonna go to DOE. Hopefully, Dr. De La Cruz can unmute now. Is she still here? Did she leave? Okay, it looked like Dr. De La Cruz left, or Rosa.
Hi, Natasha. So she's traveling and it's difficult for her, but I already made sure that you guys have all the updates. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here from Youth Construct? I'm not sure who that would be. Is there anyone Youth Construct? I'm gonna ask one more time. All right. I don't see anyone, so I'm gonna assume we could just continue, Khalid. All right. All right, so we have one presentation today from Reverend Isaac Scott, so I'm gonna let him take it away. Reverend Scott?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Natasha. Can I share screen?
I could see if you're able to.
Yeah, you should.
Be able to.
I should be.
Yes, you're a panelist, Pastor. You should be able to.
Okay, thank you. Just give me a few seconds. Okay. Go in the room with your sister. Go in the room with your sister. Sorry, y'all. I'm home with the kids, so forgive me. Thank you. So I wanted to I'm gonna share my screen now so you all can see what I'm looking at. I wanted to present to first Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you everyone for the work that you all are doing. I deeply appreciate, excuse me. Deeply appreciate hearing all of these updates and looking forward to the work we have moving forward in 2023. I wanted to come before the Youth and Education Committee and do a presentation on some work that I've been talking about. I've been mentioning it over the last few meetings, And I wanted to formally come and just introduce it a little bit more and give folks an opportunity to share it. Please share it. That's the main reason I'm here. I want folks to share this opportunity before the deadline closes for workshop facilitators and educators. Now, the deadline for people to participate in what I'm about to present will remain open as long as there are workshops to be done throughout this year. So the initiative that is being launched in East Harlem, right on 116th and Madison Avenue at the Another Choice of Youth and Family Outreach Solution Center, which is the outreach ministry for Mount Zion AME Church, which is the church that is right on 116th and Madison Avenue. The initiative is the Strategic Arts and Education Initiative, and it is to offer artistic literacy, professional development, and capacity building training for youth and adults. So this is not just an opportunity for young people or older people, but it's an opportunity for people, period. And some of the workshops and courses that I'll show you, it will make sense in how they will be for different people. I spoke a little bit about this yesterday at the Human Services Committee, and I wanted to just build on it a little bit deeper. So the mission of the Strategic Arts and Education Initiative is to provide free artistic literacy and professional development options. This is specific. I'm not going to read the slides. The slides are here for y'all. Just I'll give you the quick version so we can get through the meeting. But pretty much these workshops and artistic literacy courses are meant to be a community enhancement tool. They are meant to be a resource for folks who are justice impacted, specifically who have some sort of involvement with the legal system and are looking for opportunities to, do different work, not so much traditional, labor. We have young people who are, in East Harlem, where the incarceration rates are very high in East Harlem. As Angela noted very wisely, that crime does take place in a lot of central areas. So we get a bulk of, young people and older people going to jail and coming back home into our community. So we wanted to be able to provide alternative options for them to receive some entrepreneurship training and some professional development skills, soft skills and hard skills. In addition, there are a lot of folks who are working with sensitive populations who also can benefit from. Go in the room with your sister. Hold on for a second, y'all, I'm sorry. Sorry. And in addition to that, there are professionals such as ourselves who are working with other, people who are part of sensitive populations. Now, this may not just be folks who are impacted by incarceration, but some of us are rape crisis counselors. Some of us are working with folks who are dealing with different illnesses and carry different stigmas. And there needs to be trauma-informed care when working with them. There needs to be sort of trauma-informed teaching when you have to go in and do workshops in a sensitive space. So these professional development workshops and artistic literacy courses are run across for a different variety of people and are meant to really serve as a community enhancement tool at the preventative level, as much as we can prevent, poverty or offset it as much by providing young people and older people with tools to be able to become entrepreneurs, become self-sustainable, and such. So I'll keep going from there. Excuse me. A little bit of background about the program that is running this. In 2014, I created a program when I first went to Columbia. Well, I started it right before I got to Columbia University, and I kind of built it out over the years that I was there. I'm happy to, announce that I've completed my studies and my work there at the university. So now all of the work of the Confined Arts starting 2023 is going to be right in East Harlem at Mount Zion on 116th and Madison. So I'm very, very happy about that. In In 2020, the Confined Arts started the Arts Justice Safety Coalition. We partnered with the Center for Court Innovation and Conspiring for Good to map, galvanize, and support artists, arts organizations, and projects and programs focused on racial justice, restorative justice, and transformative justice. So really just those people and organizations working at the intersection of art and social justice, or those artists who have a particular, they may not necessarily consider themselves advocates, but their art is themed in a certain way where it really lifts up issues, particularly in a way. So a lot of this this work, this coalition building work, is to enable the network of artists to be able to get the visibility. I don't know how many artists we have on the phone, but it's a hard life for artists. It's important that we form communities where we can support one another, also where we can share resources. That's one of the biggest reasons for the coalition being formed, in that we share resources. My funder or my relationships become your relationships if you're a part of the coalition. And it's really like we're here to share resources, time, and expertise. So a lot of the work of the Confined Arts is done through the Arts Justice Safety Coalition. We have, I'll keep going. Some of our coalition partners are Recess Art. They're based out in Brooklyn and work directly with young people who are in the diversion program or at that phase of being diverted from the criminal legal system. Phoenix Players Theaters Group, this is a group that works upstate New York, but they work specifically inside of prisons doing performance and theater. Arte works with young people in Harlem. Artistic Noise is also in Harlem working with young people. Drama Club, I think, is out in Brooklyn, but the name speaks for itself. It's a lot of drama advocacy and Dances for Solidarity. So these are some of our core partners. This is not even close to the number of people who are affiliated with the coalition. There's no prerequisite, really. If you're an artist, we connect you right away, and or you start to get emails from us, and you get to share in those resources. So it's really like an open and free space. So that's a little bit of background about the Confined Arts, who's operating the program at Mount Zion. The reason I wanted to come today is because the deadline to apply as a teaching artist and a workshop facilitator has been extended to January 16th. So I believe that is next Monday. It will be 11:59. Some really quick logistics before I actually show you the topics, the courses, and some of the goals and objectives that we have overall for the initiative. I wanted to highlight these points because these are probably some of the things that you're going to want to know, like this is the meat and potatoes. Workshops will begin this spring, and they are open to ages 16 and up. Registration is required, and registration is literally like, hey, your name, the Google form takes your email, so it's your phone number. It's really like one question about you. So it's really limited. It's really like low on the question end. It's not meant to be deterring for anyone, and it's really meant to be open and free to the public, to the extent that we have the capacity in each class or course for people. Our artistic literacy courses will run for 8 weeks on Saturday afternoons. They will be in person at Mount Zion, as I said, on 116th Street in East Harlem. They will be limited in capacity only because the equipment is limited in capacity. So for an example, there are 4 artistic literacy courses. One of them is a writing course. That one could be offered in person and online to open it up to a lot more people, because the materials for that, it may just really be as easy as writing materials, which folks may be able to get at home. But for the courses that are dealing with like filming and equipment, the capacity is limited. So we'll only be able to take a number of people per workshop. So it'll be on like a first come, first served basis. The professional development workshops are one-time 2-hour workshops that are held over Zoom. And they won't be on a Saturday. They'll be scheduled, and there'll be every workshop will have its own flyer and promotional strategy behind it. So you'll know when each one is coming out, the date, what's actually going to be included in each one in everything. So some of the professional development workshops include Introduction to Entrepreneurship. This is a workshop for artists and entertainers, also for folks like myself who have gone through something and started an organization out of their own lived experience. In my work, I've come across a lot of people who do the work, and we, as advocates, we start doing the work, and we do the work so much that we don't have time to establish the business and the organization that's actually carrying the work, and therefore the work cannot be sustainable because we've never put anything into the foundation. So a lot of this is really working with people who want to take their skills and really build a foundation around it. Also, just folks who are like, hey, I have a craft and how can I make money from it? You know, it doesn't have to be that you want a business. You might just want to know, how can I make money off my craft? How can I increase my visibility? How can I get more people to, you know, give me feedback or come to my website or whatever that is? This entrepreneurship workshop will cover that. Community enhancement through the arts is a workshop for local nonprofits and community organizers. That it's a broad overview of the different ways in which the arts can be used as a community enhancement tool within different work in our community. So this won't be just for people working with you know, folks who have come home from prison, but, you know, people working in different places and different populations, teachers working in schools with young people. How can you better use the arts? We know, like, it's, you know, we can use it, but you can also use it a lot more intentionally to be, you know, a tool for, you know, building friendship in classrooms amongst, you know, children that may be having trouble getting along with each other. There's a lot of different, this is meant to like take the arts to that next level and show its intentionality and how it can be used more as a tool, an intentional tool. Enhancing community engagement is more, it's similar to the community enhancement through the arts, but it's more like, how do we enhance our community engagement like in the immediate communities that we're in, like directly, like in our focus groups, over our Zoom meetings, over our, you know, just our different interactions. How do we enhance that engagement via the arts? So that health enhancement through the arts, you know, this is a workshop that really looks at how the arts can be implemented in health spaces in the different ways that the arts can, you know, be a healing tool, you know, as it already is in a lot of ways. Trauma-informed teaching and creative production in justice spaces is part 2. We have part 1 is already, it was done a few months ago. Excuse me, the link for the workshop is on our YouTube, and I'm more than happy to share with anyone who wants it. I'm actually going to send Natasha a follow-up email with all of this stuff. Natasha, a follow-up email with everything. It'll have the workshops that we've done in the past and these coming up. So yeah, pedagogy and curriculum development is like, it's like it's like a spin-off of the trauma-informed teaching, because trauma-informed teaching talks about, you know, the environment, the space, understanding the curriculum, which you're asking of people in sensitive spaces when you have to go in and do, you know, workshopping with them. But then it also, pedagogy then takes us to like, well, what are you actually doing in the room with them? You know, what are you trying to accomplish in the room with them? You know, and is that, you know, is that kosher, or is it the right thing as such? So both of those workshops have a part 1 already, and this spring will offer part 2 for those. The artistic literacy courses include illustration and graphic design, photography and documentary filmmaking, creative writing and work and poetry, and dance and theater advocacy. These are the workshops that I mentioned will run for 8 weeks long on Saturdays. I feel like I didn't miss anything yet. I think one of the things I do want to say for these two things, for folks who may be interested, this information is on the website where you can find, where you find this on the website. There's a lot more than what I have here in these slides, obviously, but you can get this information I'm about to say, which is about the pay. The workshop facilitators for the professional development workshops, there will be 2 facilitators per workshop, and they will each be paid a flat fee of $400 as facilitators. Now, these are the 2-hour one-off workshops. So the $400 is for their planning time and for facilitating the workshop. Everyone is paid at the same pay rate. I just want to say that for what I'm about to say next. The artistic literacy courses run obviously longer than 2-hour courses. The facilitators, teaching artists for this, it's a flat rate of $1,000. It's the same pay rate, just more hours. So yeah, those are just some things for folks who may be interested in, coming to teach or facilitate a workshop. Another thing I want to say to those points is these workshops and courses are not, the curriculum have not been developed for them in as much as there is a goal. Let me just go. There are goals and objectives that govern this initiative, and we are allowing the teaching artists and the facilitators to come in and to implement their creativity within these parameters. So I just want to say that there is a lot of room for creativity for people, for the teaching artists' own individual creativity in shaping out what these workshops look like. So some of the goals here: provide consistent access to artistic literacy and capacity building trainings for community stakeholders who would not traditionally have access to this information or resources. One of the things that I've witnessed, especially working at Columbia University for so long, a lot of people don't understand the role in which the arts plays in justice spaces. It's weird because they'll mention, how they watched the film or engaged in something and it really helped them to see something different or be able to grasp humanity better. But when you get in the planning room, like, okay, what's the strategy for this campaign? The arts is not really seen as a focal point in how we're going to get across our messaging. So this has been my gripe for a lot of years there in articulating, here's how the arts has a place, and here's what the arts can do to help further the policy goals you have, to help further the legal goals that you have, or the advocacy and campaign goals that you have. So yeah, these are 3 out of like 5 goals. Also, Khalid, if I'm on a clock and I'm supposed to be quiet soon, let me know, because I'll be going. I'm trying to get through everything. Just want to make sure I'm okay.
That's up to Natasha, Isaac. Don't worry, you won't get that from me.
Copy.
I think you're fine because you're the only presentation we have today. So
Okay,
and
cool.
you're doing a lot of good things. So just keep going.
Appreciate you, and I'll be done in like 3 more minutes. So these 3 goals, I put up the first 3 goals. The other 2 are on our website. We want to offer free artistic literacy and capacity building training to people who are justice involved and at risk of future reoffending. Recidivism is a real thing, and coming home from prison, it certainly it devalues you on the employment market. It makes it that much harder for you to gain employment after incarceration. So having these additional skills, we hope will be a game changer for people coming home or who may be at risk of going to jail. Also, promote public safety through community-based interventions via providing free trainings and capacity building tools to offset social inequalities. And this is something that I mentioned before about, if we can offset poverty just a bit if we're able to enable community stakeholders on how they can be financially sustainable. How do I use the skills that I have to be able to bring in some extra income, and then how do I keep that income and make it work for me? So we believe that projects and programs like this overall can begin to provide these sort of tools and resources. So some of our outcomes that we hope to see as it relates directly to our goals. So we when we outlined our goals, we also outlined, well, what do we want to see happen as a result of those goals? So we do want to see more community-based advocates and entrepreneurs provided with the tools that they need to become socially and financially sustainable, as I just mentioned. For the second objective, as I mentioned, about coming home from prison and being able to thrive and being able to make it back in, And then lastly, community-based artists and entrepreneurs are better equipped to express themselves, advocate for the needs of their communities, and galvanize resources to address those issues. So we do see these workshops and courses as a community enhancement tool and as a resource to address community issues. With that, I'm finished. Thank you very much, everybody, for your patience. Do you have any questions?
I
Please.
do have a question.
Please,
quickly.
please.
Couple. Yeah,
Please.
that was a really good presentation. Like
Please,
you
thank you.
basically, yeah, made it pretty hard for me to find the question. My question is,
Yes.
for the theater, is there like a musical theater aspect in it, or is it just acting?
Yes, it should. I'll say musical theater. Yes. I want to say yes, in that theater does include music. So because dance is also a part of it, music will be a part of it. So one of the facilitators will be a professional dancer. The other one will be a professional theater person. And they'll come together and collaborate to create this workshop with me there, ensuring that they stay within the parameters of our goals and objectives.
All right, and this is just a suggestion.
Yes, please.
Because I'm a music major, so I'm always trying to sprinkle a little bit of music in there. I
Please.
think maybe like something like a choir, or maybe like learning to play the ukulele or something like that, because those are stuff that people could use as an outlet to like create also in a way. Because I know a lot of people who they don't necessarily know how to say stuff in words, but they could say it through song. It's like it can even be like a non-verbal way of communication.
Yeah.
And then also,
No, I was going to think to that point, we wanted to have a music specific workshop. And the issue was that the budget doesn't allow us to get the music equipment that we need at the moment. Now, throughout the running of this, we are going to be fundraising. So when we do get to that point, I'm going to circle back with you about that, because I certainly want to do, music was definitely one of those in there. We had to make some tough decisions on what we could offer.
yeah, I think even just like a simple choir, because that's something you could do with barely anything. Just get like a track.
Okay.
And then and also something else on the art aspect for people who may feel that they can't necessarily draw. There's something also, I'm not sure if you've seen like the Rubik's Cube mosaics. That's something, because it basically where they take individual Rubik's Cubes and they learn how to solve it, because I've seen this used in schools before. They learn how to solve it, and then they could also learn how to manipulate it in a way so that way it's like a pixelized image. So that's something also you could think about. Yeah, because I've seen like it build confidence, just people being like, oh wow, I could solve. You could use it as like oh, this seemed like an impossible challenge. Maybe stuff isn't impossible.
Like a confidence builder. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Does anyone else have questions for Reverend Scott?
No, I got a few comments. Well, a couple of things. I just want to congratulate you, Reverend Scott. It's funny because
thank you.
Art comes in many forms, and both of us, I think, were similar in middle school age when we kind of met trying to play ball. I know I thought I was great, but I wasn't that good. And yet, we find other talents, and I think opening up experience for people in different ways, but utilizing art. And that's why I flashed this image up again. This was a bunch of middle schoolers just coming together, talk about social justice, and then create something, right? And I think, it's so important in our community to see the beauty of what we really have inside of us and how we use different modalities to bring that out. So I commend you. I think, I would love to send some of my counselors to some of the workshops so they can help you know, like I have one person that comes in and does this work. All the staff can't do that same level of work. But yet I have these staff that are with kids every day and how they can learn to create and give kids a voice through their art. So I definitely want to explore how we can do that as well and also support it as through an agency. So thank you.
Yeah.
No,
I
thank
agree
you.
with David because you never know what would necessarily be someone's spark. Because you know, when you're little, you try all these things and eventually people find the one thing that sticks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or you don't have opportunities to try things and you miss
Yep.
what might be that thing that sticks. So,
Yep.
but thank you. Thank you for your presentation and however we can support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Anyone else have any
So
questions?
so can I just say something? So I don't know if many people know, I grew up in the Children's Aid Society, and David was one of my counselors there. And I grew up playing basketball on Saturday programs. So he's actually saw this, you know, seeing me be out there with my little brother playing basketball every Saturday, and then to be here doing this. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. It's a blessing being here with you, Dave, for real.
No, I'm gonna tell you, I feel very blessed because I'm in the center. You're on one side of me, and Natasha is on the other side. And you know, this is what I've devoted my life to, is being there like people were there for me at times of crisis when I was a young person, you know. And yo, I'm proud, you know, and Malik ain't here tonight. I don't see Malik, but you know, he's another one that, you know, these are generationals. And I just want to commend Natasha for running these meetings the last few months because I'm trying to get home. And I really think, and I'm sure many of you agree, Natasha should continue to run these meetings so that you don't have to listen to me except when I need to integrate, you know, with some into knowledge. But you don't know how special I feel in this space. You know, as you get older too, and I hit 60, it's like, what do you really leave in life? And you know, what I leave is y'all. And as y'all continue your work with your own flavor, with your own uniqueness, you know, and all those things as well. So I want to get all my staff to be able to think in these boxes and put things together with kids. And maybe you can help with that as well. So
Yeah,
look,
I'd be honored.
intergenerational giving back. So that's what it is.
I'd be honored to. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I saw Dr. De La Cruz's hand for a second. I'm not sure if she wanted to say something or if that was an accidental hand.
It was accidental, Natasha. Sorry. I was trying to find the reactions because I was going to put a heart and I couldn't find the reactions on my app because I was going to do the heart. So
that's hilarious.
I love hearing all the beautiful stories of self and just giving back to the community. It's really inspiring. So thank you.
Anyone else have any comments, questions for Reverend Scott, or are we good? All right. I don't see anything in the. All right. Dr.
I just want to add, you know, Dr. De La Cruz has ensured in the last few years I've been part of the CEC and we've overlapped, that there's youth representation on the CEC as well, and that youth have a voice. So I know she knows this work because she preaches it and does it every day. So, and I think it's next your turn. Oh, let me be quiet. I'm not chair.
You still are chair. Dr. De La Cruz, I know we missed you earlier, and I'm not sure if Rosa said she said everything.
Yep.
Or all right.
Yeah, I think she did, but I just want to I apologize for the technical, and just so glad that Rosa was here and David, all of you guys can represent and share about what's going on in the Department of Education. But I just really want to just express gratitude. Happy New Year to everyone. This is our January meeting. On Friday, we had the Three Kings. I saw many of you at the Three Kings celebration, and our D4 schools were represented, whether they were playing as performers, marching, spectators. We were definitely represented, and it's always great to be together. I'm sure Rosa mentioned the Winter Wonderland. And we continue to have more families come. I think tomorrow we have about 50 more families coming into the district. And so we as a community have told the Department of Education that we will accept all students and families. we need children to have schools. And it's actually a blessing for us to be able to fill up these seats, and we're working together as a team. As a D4 office, in collaboration with our CEC and our President's Council and community, in response to this, we're in the process of transforming one of our classrooms at the D4 office into like a mini La Marqueta, a place where we're going to be able to put all of our donations, supplies, not just for our new arrivals, but for any families of need. And we're in the process of creating that. So, oh, yep, Rosa mentioned that too. So she probably got it all, and hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow at the CEC meeting. And then on Thursday, we have our District Comprehensive Education Planning meeting at Manhattan Science Center. Really excited about that. But again, thank you. I love coming to these spaces. I always learn something new. And I know, like, from District 5 and the community, the more we work together, the better we can serve the community. So thanks to everyone.
I just want to say, for those of you who are not in the schools, I've met some of these families, and it's crazy like how much they're thriving, and it's amazing to see, because I specifically I work at Children's Aid. I have one of those kids in my group, and she's just like the love that I've seen from the teachers and everyone just welcoming her with open arms is really what our district is about. I think that's it, unless there's anything on the agenda, Fareed. Hello?
Yes, I just unmuted.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, yes,
Any,
you want to do everything, old business or new business, you can call, of course, to see if there's any old business that the committee members want to bring up, or any new
yeah.
business that the members would like to bring up. It's your call, Chair.
All right. Any old business, anyone? Or new business? Nothing? All right. So I guess we could just conclude and call the roll.
Okay, will do. Give me 1 second.
Thank you all for attending. Natasha, thank you as always for standing in. I am so proud that you're able to do this, and I have the confidence in you that you'll run the meeting a little bit more efficient than I will, because we're ending.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I'm 2 blocks away. You're far.
Wow.
In some way, I know, I guess I'll look for the day we go back to hybrid, because I also love attending the CECs, which we've been doing hybrid. And there's something about sharing space and being in space with people as well. I'm glad that we can do the Zoom so we get greater attendance and participating. And I know sometimes it allows us to attend more than one meeting in a night, much easier than if we had to run around. But, I would hope that if all those that can attend and feel comfortable attend the thing that Angel sent out that the borough president has set up for us at the meet and greet. I think it's escaping me the location, but it's at the end of the month. Khalid, yes, I see that you.
Yeah, David, that information is, I believe Angel might forward a full,
invitation.
Notice, yes, invitation notice to the board members, but that's also going to be included in our weekly e-blast at the end of this week. So yes, that information will be available January 31st, as Rosa Diaz commented.
So many dates.
Yes, and I'm hoping, and again, for those that feel comfortable with or without mask, as we live now in a changed world, to just get out and see people again. It's really good to be in space, and I much appreciate all of you for all your time, commitment to this committee, and keep your resolutions for the year. I guess that's the word we'll say. Keep
I
your
failed
resolutions.
already. Can we call the roll, please?
Yes,
we can. John Green does have his hand raised. I don't know if you'd like to.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Well, David, I've already RSVP'd for the borough president's event on the 31st, so you'll see me there.
Great.
Okay, I will call the roll. Just to reiterate, 9 total members. Rosa Diaz.
Wait a minute, where's Jason at? Jason is not in New York.
I want to go where Jason is.
Right. I mean, this looks like the place to be. This is where Zoom is great, right? Where we can go on and escape, but also still be part if we want to be able to, if we can. I'm sorry, Khalid. I just had to say something.
You're all good.
I haven't seen
No,
you in a long
that's
time.
no, I saw it too, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not New York.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I think just the fact that he's here is appreciated.
Oh man, he's showing off. He's showing off. Okay.
Yeah, have fun in LA, Jason.
Okay. I called Rosa Angela Donadell.
I'm here and Happy New Year.
Thank you. David Giordano.
Present. Good to see everyone.
Thank you. John Green.
Happy New Year, and I'm out.
Thank you. Excuse me. Claudia Perez.
Present.
Thank you. Natasha Rodriguez.
I'm here.
Yes. Isaac Scott.
Present.
Russell Schuler.
Present.
Thank you. And then, of course, Jason Wu.
Present and Happy New Year.
He's on a delay, 2-3 hour delay.
Ah.
Well,
Nice.
thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All
Khalid,
right,
thank
good
you
night,
as
everyone.
well. You're really great to work with.
Of course. Of course. No worries. No worries at all.
All right.
You all have a great night. Stay warm. Jason, you stay, you're good where you are.
Your t-shirt.
Good
All
night,
right,
y'all.
good night, everyone.
You really
Good
look
night.
too happy.
Great job, Natasha.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. Yes. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night. See you tomorrow, maybe.
I'll be there, Rosa.
Woohoo!